All 5 are good, all 5 are good. Look down each case. Don't miss any. And that way you know you haven't missed any. And that's it. So now I'm going to take it over and we're going to put bullets in this. Morning, my name is Tom. I come to you from the Rustic log cabin in Northern Maine. Welcome to my reloading room today. What we're going to talk about today is, this is going to be a myth video. Because I was watching another YouTube channel a couple days ago, and what he said, the more he talked, the dumber he sounded. So I left him a pretty good comment. Not sure he appreciated it, but it was downright foolish and stupid at what he was saying. So it kind of irked me. So I decided that we're going to do a myth video today. What's the myth video? Well, the reason I clicked on his video was 5 things not to buy at a gun show. That's a very good topic. That's a pretty good ground there to cover. And the ground he covered, I'm not exactly saying he was completely wrong. But what he was wrong was on the judgment call that he was making. We're going to start out. His first thing he says not to buy at a gun show is reloaded bullets. Now, I agree with that statement. I've been reloading for 40 years. I agree with that statement. I don't believe you should be buying reloaded bullets at a gun show. Now, I will get into why I think that, but I'm going to tell you what he had to say. He said he went to a gun show and he bought a box of 30-06 ammunition for his rifle, and he took it to the range, and it was an automatic. Put the first bullet in, and it got stuck. So he had to take the gun apart, get the bullet out, blah, blah. So he said, okay, well, maybe that was just one bullet. So he put the second bullet in, and it got stuck. So from that point, he took that it was a reloader that knew absolutely nothing about reloading, and he built an inferior bullet in the 30-06. That is foolishness. From that point on, now this guy wasn't that old. I'll give him 28, 29, and that might be pushing it. That's just plain foolishness. And it's ass backwards. The reason that 30-06 bullet did not chamber into his rifle was because that 30-06 bullet was made for one gun. And that would have been the reloaders that reloaded that bullet for his gun. There's 2 ways of building a bullet for this gun. This is a 25-06. Now, the reason that bullet didn't fit in his gun is because when you fire a bullet in this gun, the bullet will stretch out and it will fit this gun perfectly. Because the case now has been fire formed. So it's fire formed for this 25-06. When I take it over to the reloading bench, I have 2 choices. And this is why the guy is foolish and stupid. Because before he opened his mouth, he should have at least understood the basics. The basics is, I have 2 choices in reloading that 30-06 bullet. Well, we'll say this 25-06. I can resize the entire case, top to bottom, or I can resize just the neck. The neck is where the bullet attaches to the case. I could resize just the neck. Why would I want to do that? Okay, especially now, this is important. In years gone by, I resized the entire case. When you resize the entire case, it'll fit in absolutely every 30-06 made. Period. When you resize just the neck, it will only fit in the gun that it was fired in, because it's formed to this gun. Why do you do that? You do that so you don't wear out brass. It's not that you're not a good reloader. It's that you're the smarter reloader, because when you constantly fire, resize, fire, resize, fire, resize, you're wearing out that brass. If you only resize the neck, you will probably never wear out that brass. I mean, I've been reloading for 40 years. I'm still reloading some of the brass I bought 40 years ago. So it's not that the guy that built that bullet built junk. It's because he knows what he's doing. And that's why I felt that guy with his 5 myths, I mean his 5 things not to buy. If you're going to say not buy 5 things, then know what you're talking about. If you don't know what you're talking, you could tell right off he knew absolutely nothing about reloaded ammunition, period. As soon as he made that statement out of his mouth, I start questioning how much he knows about any rifles or any handguns. Because give me a break. Give me a break. Gotta have a drink. Now, why is it that I agree with that statement that you shouldn't buy reloads from a gun show? Pretty simple. You don't know who did it. You don't know who made that reload. It could have been someone that really understands reloading. It could have been somebody that really gets the whole thing. Or it could be somebody that's a wildcat. And I don't mean that like wildcat ammunition. That's good. I'm talking about somebody that's either builds them too hot. The biggest myth is, and I don't build any hot ammunition, period. I think, I know that there's guys that push the limit. Hey, all the power to you. I'm not that guy. I come up to the red line and I stop. Or I go below the red line. Red line means the maximum load. That's where I go, that's where I stop. Well, when you're buying reloaded ammunition at a gun show, you don't know that. If you're getting some reloaded ammunition from your buddy and you trust him, all right. Now, I still don't agree with that. And if you watch my videos, you'll see. So I won't get into it again here. But I don't shoot any ammunition that was reloaded by anyone else except for myself. Because I know the care that I put into each and every cartridge. There are steps that I go through from the first step to the last step. Some of it is redundancy, but that's all right. Redundancy is all right. Because when I get to the end where I've got 100 rounds built up for the 30-06 or 100 rounds for the 25-06, I know each and every one of those cases and bullets is built to my specs. I am the quality control. Just like if you get into reloading, you are the quality control. So take your time reloading and make sure that like what I do, one of the biggest things I do is before I put a bullet on top of that case that's filled with powder, I look down each and every case. Each and every case to make sure that it has powder in it, number one. And number two, to make sure it's not a double charge, or it's not, if it looks funny, then don't do it. If it looks like it's got a little more powder than the other one, then dump that one out. Don't do it. Now that doesn't happen unless you screw up. And in most rifle cases, a double charge will overflow anyways. The only time you could get a double charge is in a pistol load. And the other thing you can get if you loaded it too heavy, then sometimes you'll be compacting the powder. And that's another thing you don't want to do. So that's why I don't use other people's reloads. That's why I agree with the statement about not buying reloads at a gun show, is because of you don't know who reloaded it. But on top of that, if it is only neck sized, which you cannot tell. I mean, there's no way that you can tell if a bullet has been neck sized or not, unless you were carrying around some calipers and you had the numbers for a case. That would be the only way that you can measure what is in that box of reloaded bullets. The bullets are made for a gun. You need to find the gun that they were built for, and then that box of bullets would probably be all right to buy. But outside of the only other thing you can do if you wanted to buy ammunition like that is, and come back, and if you're buying it strictly for the brass, now you could buy ammunition like that if it's cheap enough. Come back here to the reloading room, pull out the bullet, dump out the powder, throw it away, and now you've got the brass. And then you could, you could take it outdoors and fire just the primer and get rid of it. Well, you couldn't if it don't fit in your gun. Now I can. I don't recommend it, but I do. Every once in a while, you'll need to push a primer out the wrong way. But go easy, go slow, and I don't recommend it. But I have had to do it at certain times in this reloading. You don't reload hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of bullets without having a problem here and there. But what else? After that, I watched what he had to say about the buying ammunition. He had 5 more things not to buy, and I stopped watching him because at the end of that statement, what he has to say is useless because he had no idea what he was talking about. And since then I've seen a couple more come up, and they sound just about as stupid. So that's the way I'm leaving that one. The myth that this guy, the myths about reloading and all of that. So, hey, you guys have a great week. I wanted to bring that up because something to chew on and something to think about when it comes to reloads, and when you do go to a gun show that's selling reloads. So, have a good day, and I'll have another cup of coffee with you, and I will see you next week.